best of hands. The country's in the very best of hands.
You're listening to Where You Live with Gene Sullivan.
Welcome back to Where You Live. I'm Gene Sullivan, broadcasting from the True North Painting Studios. The show is brought to you by Extreme Exteriors and American Family Insurance, the Kim Bennett Agency. As an American Family agent, Kim believes that there is much more to insurance than the policy itself. It's about providing you with dependable protection and services. Kim believes that trust and credibility can't be demanded. It can only be earned by what you say and what you do. Give her a call at 651-482-1598 and tell her Gene sent you. Now, before we get back into our discussion with a caller here, it's time now to quickly hear from the Minnesota Multi-Housing Association. The MHA Minute is brought to you by Start to Finish Maintenance Contractors. Start to Finish provides 24-hour service for all your home and business maintenance needs. Give them a call at 952-259-1219 for your home, for your business, for your peace of mind.
Did you know that the members of the Minnesota Multi-Housing Association, or MHA, provide over a quarter of the state's housing? That's housing for more than 1 million residents. The members of MHA agree to abide by a professional code of ethics, and they know that happy residents are key to a successful business. When you're out looking for your next apartment, remember that rental references are a two-way street. Before you rent, ask if the owner is a member of MHA. If not, ask why not. And tell them to visit mmha.com. That's two M's, mmha.com. If you're an owner or manager or even an accidental landlord, you owe it to yourself to learn how the Minnesota Multi-Housing Association, its classes, certification programs, resources, staff, and faculty can help you succeed. Don't be a good landlord. Be a great one. Visit mmha.com, mmha.com.
If you're just joining us, we have a listener that's on the show who wished to be anonymous. And you mentioned that we're talking about your homeowners association and what can't be done with reserve funds. And you had the question, you said, who determines what is adequate for setting aside for your homeowner associations for having the reserve funds needed? Is that correct?
Yes.
Any other additional questions, or is that about the only other one you have?
That's the one that is most important to us at this point.
Okay. All right. Well, I want to say thank you for being a part of the show, and I'll continue to answer that question. The association and needs to have what's done periodically, a capital replacement plan. It's called a long-range study, and for the purpose of trying to determine what is needed to have set aside. The whole idea for having this in the first place is because the idea is that instead of being surprised, and all of you as 60 homeowners or 100 homeowners are now required to all of a sudden cough up a special assessment of $10,000, $8,000 because you need to have things replaced. The idea is let's have everybody think ahead of time and put a little bit each and every month so that when something does finally wear out, the money's already there. That's a great idea and a good way of handling a budget and what needs to be done. So to do that, the association needs to have an updated capital replacement plan done, and that needs to be done every few years for the simple reason that sometimes things will wear away at a quicker pace than what was anticipated because of additional storms or other things that you hadn't thought about when the person put the plan together. So it's good to have that updated. In this particular case, you mentioned that your association had the roofs recently done. Well, that kind of resets things, doesn't it? If your roofs were ready to be replaced in 5 or 6 years, and 2 years ago because of a storm, you ended up getting them done brand new by the insurance company, that resets it now going out for another 25, 30 years. before that would be required again. So the money that is there could be moved and allocated for some other things. And so you need to do that. Once that plan is put together, you're going to have, of course, someone who does that is probably going to be an engineer. It could be someone qualified from the property management company. There are a number of people that have the ability and expertise to be able to put together a capital replacement plan for your association. And once they've done that, typically they will make sure that they talk to professionals. They're the people that are going to make sure that you have measured how many square feet of shingles you have for your roof, how many squares of siding needs to be done, how much asphalt will need to be replaced, how much cement for the retaining walls or whatever. And so they will actually measure out how much you have and put that together and then figure out how much life expectancy is left in those items. Once that's put together, you will be able to see very quickly, because there'll be a chart that will have this laid out then for a 30-year period. And you'll be able to see quite easily if the money is going to be there, whether or not you have adequate funds would be determined with whether or not at any time during that chart where things are set out over that period of time, whether you go in the red. If you don't go in the red, you've got adequate funds. You've got more than enough to take care of what needs to be done each and every year. And that's, again, the purpose of a capital replacement plan. But you need to make sure that you take the time to have that done, have that updated, because I can tell you, if you live in a homeowners association, it's going to be much better to be able to add a little bit more each and every month than it is after 5 years or 10 years to all of a sudden get a bill handed to you by the association saying everybody needs to cough up now $8,000 for us to be able to keep things moving. You don't want to be in that situation. So you want to plan for the future. So I hope that helps answer that question for you. Thank you so much for calling. Folks, if anybody has a question at all at any time, please give me a call, even though we record our show during the week and it's aired on Saturday mornings here on The Patriot. Please go to our website at New Concepts at www.newconceptsgroup.com. You can pull down the menu that says Education and Resources. There will be a page on our radio show, and all of my contact information is there. My phone number, my email address. If you wish to be anonymous like our last caller, you can do that. If you'd like to be named, I'd be happy to mention your name as well. But always interested in hearing from you and the questions that you have. We've got a couple minutes left here before the show ends today. Let me just deal with one other quick question that I received from a listener, and this is with someone who is dealing with a rental situation. This young lady said, I just moved out of my first rental. The landlord is now charging me $500 more than my actual deposit, and that just doesn't seem right. The other person who was the original roommate living with me is now long gone, and I've never seen the lease agreement or the move-in check-in list. I never have, and I can't believe that when she moved in that the place was in such pristine condition that I've got to now pay this money. I'm the only one that's left. This just doesn't seem right. Well, I want to say to those that are renting, please make sure that before you ever enter into a rental agreement, especially if this is a sublet or you are now entering into agreement with other roommates, that they stay on the hook and are responsible for things. In this particular case, it sounds like the young lady didn't know or understand what the condition of the property was when this person first moved in, because this person moved in possibly a year or so or two before this person ever did. And now this person leaves, and now you're left holding the bag. It's always better that if you're going to take over for someone else, that you make sure that you probably talk to the landlord first to get the old lease done and a new one started, so you have a new starting point. Unfortunately, this person now is going to be stuck with something that's probably the responsibility of their former roommate. Well, that's all the time we've got for today's show. Thanks so much for taking part of your Saturday to listen. Have a great rest of the weekend. Look forward to having you here next Saturday morning on Where You Live.
How sweet